Good day everyone, we are here to present to you the leadership and responsibility skills. I am Hannah Nicole G. Sia, leader of Group 10, and these are my members, Jennifer T. Tesorero, Roslyn D. Dawong, and Elizardo A. Saldivar Jr. What comes into your mind when you hear the word leadership? Maybe someone will say that leadership is leading the group or group work and so on. So, leadership involves someone's ability to influence and guide others towards a common goal. Leadership should empower people, inspire people, lead change, and share vision. Leadership is also the life skills that helps one learn the art of building relationships within teams, define identities, and achieve tasks effectively. According to our site DC.com, you can create greater followers under poor leadership. Why? Because if you don't have the characteristics of being a good leader, you can't create great followers because you have a poor leadership. So here are the 10 characteristics of a good leader. Integrity, ability to delegate, communication is a must, self-awareness, gratitude, learning agility, influence, empathy, courage, and last, respect. So here's the indicator for the leadership skills according to the P21 framework. Guide and lead others. Use interpersonal and problem-solving skills to influence and guide others toward a goal. Leverage strengths of others to accomplish a common goal. Inspire others to reach their very best via examples and selflessness. Demonstrate integrity and ethical behavior in using influence and power. Use your power to influence people or your members, but don't become an authoritative leader. According to the 21st Century Skill Handbook, these are some of the activities that you can integrate on your lessons in order to enhance the leadership skills of your students. Quiz to lead, number game, round tables, do sa bail char, and leaders you admire. First is quiz to lead. Hold the quiz competition row-wise in the classroom. Make one leader per row, make rules of the game such that leader will select students who will answer. This will develop leadership qualities among children and also motivate other children to develop leadership quality. Next is the number game. Divide class into two groups and write numbers 1 to 25 randomly on the floor with chalk. Select two students to lead the group and give them a few minutes to see the numbers, then start the game. Every member of the team has to jump on each of the numbers and say the number loudly so that other members can listen to the number. This requires a huge amount of coordination in the team. Whichever team completes the game in less time will be the winner. This activity will help children to develop leadership skills as they have to manage their team to work in coordination. So both leader and the members should be responsible enough in order to cooperate to win this number game.
Let's proceed to the third activity entitled Leaders You Admire. This activity helps in understanding the characteristics and quality of a good leader. Group participants discuss about the leader whom they admire. In subsequent group discussions, they communicate and share each other's findings. This kind of activity leads the learners to come up with a list of characteristics of a good leaders, which they can be used to become a leader. It also enables a student to have a wide perspective when it comes in choosing a leader. We can see in the picture some of the traits, qualities, and descriptions of the good leader according to Cathedral Grammar. The fourth activity is round tables. This activity requires 4 tables, and each table has different group with different tasks to perform. Each group will have a group leader who will delegate the task to their members. Once they begin, the task time is measured for each group, and the group which takes minimum time will be the winner. This activity will improve delegation skills. In this type of activity, the leadership skill of the leader the collaboration and communication among the group are being tested, because in order for them to succeed in this activity, they must finish the task as fast as they can. And now let's talk about responsibility. According to 21st Century Handbook, responsibility includes demonstrating integrity and ethical behavior by the students towards building safe and positive classroom environment. Everyone inside the classroom has responsibilities that must be performed to have a good relationship among the students and the teachers to build a conducive classroom environment. That's why the teacher must prevent wrongdoings by teaching children to take responsibility for their action. Here are the 6 steps to become responsible learners from Kids Skills. For Jetto, responsibility is about being accountable for what you do and the way you behave. And it is about owning up to things that you have done wrong and trying to make things better. Responsibility is not just saying it wasn't my fault, when really you know that you played a part in whatever went wrong. Responsibility is being the best person you can be at all times. This means that we are always responsible for how we act, no matter how we feel. Responsibility means we should do the things we are expected to do. That is why, let us take responsibility and do the right thing. Let's move on to the 6 steps on how to become more responsible person according to Molly Ho Studio. First, ask yourself why you want to be more responsible person. Second, stop blaming others and making excuses. Third, set realistic expectation and don't overcommit yourself. Fourth, follow through on things you say you'll do. Fifth, don't allow yourself to procrastinate. And lastly, get back when you fall and keep going. No one is perfect.
According to the 21st century's framework, we have here the indicators of be responsible to others. Act responsibly with the interests of the larger community in mind. Help teachers develop their abilities to use various strategies, such as formative assessments, to reach diverse students and create environments that support differentiated teaching and learning. Support the continuous evaluation of students' 21st century skills development. Encourage knowledge sharing among communities and practitioners, using face-to-face, virtual, and blended communications. And use a scalable and sustainable model of professional development. According to the 21st Century Skills Handbook, we have 4 responsibility activities, which are making own classroom rules, helping hands, break the chain, and wanted responsible. First is making own classroom rules. As teachers, as part of our responsibility to ensure students learn, we must create an environment through classroom management where students' relational and academic behaviors are oriented in a manner most likely to ensure learning happens. Students will be encouraged to make the class rules in the beginning of the session. The most suitable ones may be finalized and displayed prominently in the classroom and followed throughout the year by each student. They may also decide what action the whole class will take if any student is found violating any of the class rules. At the other side of the coin, we have here the classroom rules. The example of the classroom rules. And these classroom rules will foster a sense of responsibility to the students. Second one is helping hands. Teacher will divide the class into pairs and take some of the belongings from each of them so that their belongings together will become whole. Teacher will then give them some work to do in which children will need to share each other's belongings. For example, they would ask students to share their geometry boxes to make a math project. With this activity, children will understand the responsibility of helping each other, and it allows learners to show how responsible they are in sharing the ideas to come up with one output. Break the chain. Select a lesson or a story having chain of events based on values. Ask the students to list out the sequence of events and find an alternative step to stop or change the chain of events. The story or lesson will be rewritten by the students, adding their perspectives to change the chain of events. And lastly is the wanted responsible. Ask the class to prepare an advertisement for hiring a responsible person and specify the qualities of a person. Children should start this advertisement with the words, "Wanted a responsible person." At the other side of the coin, we have here the qualities of a responsible person, which are brave, liable, strong, talented, intelligent, generous, honest, and many more. This will help children to know and the teacher to guide them in understanding what kind of a person can be considered a responsible person.
At this point, I will now talk about the 4 best leadership lesson plans. The first one is Student Leadership Activity and Discussion from Counseling, Leadership, and Team Building. In the activity, students rate themselves on a variety of leadership traits in 3 overarching ideas. These are character, work ethic, and together with the little things. After students fill out the survey, you can use the suggested questions to start a class discussion about the different leadership traits, which were said and tackled a while back. This discussion could take up to an entire class period depending on student participation. Even though this lesson plan is short and sweet, it's an excellent introduction activity to any lesson on leadership. We now proceed to the second. Leadership activities from teaching and motivating teams. The purpose of the resource is to introduce students to what it means to be a leader and demonstrate how small actions can make big differences. As part of the lesson, students watch a TED Talk on everyday leadership. What's great about this resource is that it was created specifically for high school students, so it's relevant to your students, meaning they can relate or it is suited to them, which will eventually facilitate interest and engagement among learners towards the lessons being tackled. In addition, the creator states that the materials are designed to provide differentiated instruction opportunities to help students no matter how they learn best. It caters to different learning styles of students, which is very important. Overall, these activities are a great way to tie leadership qualities together with other important concepts, especially collaboration. We now proceed to the third leadership lesson from Scholastic. Scholastic is a well-known publisher of books and educational materials used in classrooms across the world. It also has a lot of ready-to-use lesson plans and resources, which is very beneficial for teachers, including a lesson called What Makes a Leader. This lesson has 4 main objectives for students, and these are identify leadership traits throughout leaders' life, research and analyze specific leaders' traits, compile and organize information from a variety of sources, and lastly, express their opinions about the person's leadership traits. Specifically, The lesson is broken into 5 parts, which are warm up, whole group, small group, closing discussion, and lastly extension. Overall, this resource is a great way to introduce common leadership traits found in real-life leaders your students recognize. Now proceed to the 4th lesson plan, which is the secondary school lesson plans from the Student Leadership Challenge. The Student Leadership Challenge is a program designed to help students understand their own leadership skills and work to improve them. The Student Leadership Challenge's lessons focus on what they call the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. These 5 practices are model the way, inspire a shaped vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and lastly, encourage the heart. At this point, we now end our report here. Thank you for listening.